Hello, this is the GPS Insight podcast, and I'm your host, Carla Wardin. We're talking to experts about everything to do with fleet and field. From telematics to dash cams to GPS tracking to today's issues, we're exploring what's going on in our industry together. Thanks for listening. Hello, I'm Carla Wardin with the GPS Insight podcast, and today I'm on with Michael Kuiros, and he is Director of DOT and Fleet Services with the division of the Keystone Insurers Group. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Carla. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Very good. Very good. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for agreeing to be here. I know you apparently have a very busy schedule. Tell me about your business.
Okay. Well, so I work for Keystone Insurers Group, which basically is an independent insurance network, insurance agency network, I should say. So an example, if I was Mike Kuiros Insurance Agency and I wanted to try to compete with some of the larger agents and have different amenities such as risk management, that's why I would become a part of Keystone. Now, we are the risk management division of Keystone. So basically my specific trade that we do is all DOT related.
Gotcha. And how long have you been doing this?
So I've actually been in this position for 11 years. Started off, well, not this position, this company. I mean, I started off doing just safety, employee safety, workers' comp type stuff, and then moved into DOT, and especially now today, DOT and fleet. There's just a big need for that.
Why is there a big need today? What's changed?
So it's interesting. I went to I'm sorry, I didn't go. I've heard that the Big I, which is for independent insurance network or agencies, put something out that said that across the board, commercial auto combined loss ratio is at 116%. So when you're at 116%, that means that they're losing across the board 16% a year. And then on top of that, then you're dipping into things such as reinsurance, stuff like that. So regardless, even if you have, a complete clean bill of health as far as roadside performance and claims activity, just naturally that the premiums are going to rise just because of what's going on.
Interesting. Obviously, that's affecting everyone, businesses and clients and all of us.
Absolutely.
So let's get into it. Can you give me some background on the risk management division and what you guys are doing?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I'd like to just discuss, we do have a strategic partnership in place with GPS Insight. So the big question that we were asked we have 300 independent agencies also that are almost 300 independent agencies that are part of Keystone. So we would get questions all the time, being that we're the risk management division. There's so many telematics companies out there. Who do we use? How do you know what's better than others? So we did our homework, and that's how we came up with GPS Insight. We feel is the best one out there. That's why we partnered with you guys. But going back to what we do with risk management, having telematics is perfect, is great. And honestly, from an insurance standpoint, there was a time where you could check a box and say, yeah, we have telematics, we have GPS, and that might have gotten you a discount in premium. But now it's more, what are you doing with that information? So if you think about it from a safety standpoint in a safety program, telematics and having that data is probably the most important thing you could do for your drivers and understanding what's going on the roadside. And the way we look at it is that is the proactive approach, because we're trying to find this stuff before it becomes an issue. So what we were finding was that people had telematics, but the problem was they weren't doing anything with the information. So, Mike Kuiros had 50 speeding violations in the last month. Well, that's good that we know about it, but what did you do about it? Mm-hmm. And that's where the risk management division is really coming into play. So not only are we saying that we partnered with this great company, but we're also providing a service to our clients that basically what we say is we're on staff, we're not on payroll. So in the companies that we deal with, typically, our main contact usually like the HR or controller. That person wears many hats. So if you're thinking about all the things you have to do in your 8-hour day, usually something with the telematics and reviewing that on a regular basis, keeping up to date, sometimes takes a back seat. And to be honest, like I said, that's probably the most important piece of safety equipment that you could have, because in real time, you know exactly what's going on. Mm-hmm. So basically we go in to the system, we review it. and everybody that has GPS Insight knows that there's artificial intelligence incorporated with it. But an example would be like, say I itched my head. This is a stupid example, and it says that there's a cell phone, okay, that I'm using. Well, there's driver scores associated with it. If you incentivize based on driver scores, you have to make sure that those are accurate. So we would go in, we actually wean out those things that are not supposed to be violations, in conjunction with the client, however they want to do it, and with our suggestions. We give weekly reports that would basically just say, please talk to this driver, this driver, this driver, and provide them with this training for coaching. We do that, or we actually do it hands-on ourselves. So we're really just we found a great platform, and now we're trying to implement it as best we can with our clients and make sure they're getting the best use out of it.
Sounds like you have dedicated people to doing this. I mean, that can't be something that everyone's doing, right?
No, right. They're not. And, honestly, a lot of times you'll see from a dispatch standpoint is why they have it. But you're keeping that liability on yourself, though, too, because once again, if I got into a serious accident as a commercial driver in a commercial trucking company, you have a huge billboard on the side of your vehicle. Yeah. And believe me, if you get into an accident, there's going to be some sort of lawsuit down the road. And then they could look at your telematics. What did you do with it? Like I said, if you had multiple speeding issues and you're not doing anything with that information, you're probably better off not having it. But you are better off having it if we're actually implementing corrective actions to all the issues that we're finding. So it's just a full, all-in, inclusive, great risk management product that we basically did together here.
Have you seen examples in doing this that people have been able to make a change in drivers' behavior?
Yes. So there's one in particular that we got in Iowa, in Des Moines, Iowa. They, talking to anybody, they have the best drivers, all that kind of stuff. But once again, nobody's in the cab with those people. And the first week we actually implemented this, we had tons and tons we just took snapshots of the videos showing drivers looking down, drivers on their cell phones, stuff that and honestly, in our own days, in our own lives, driving to work, driving to the grocery store, everybody's guilty of looking at their phone, doing something like that. But once again, you're not working for somebody else, and that liability isn't on the company you're working for. So we nipped that in the butt pretty quick. We basically talked with every individual driver. It also let them know that there are eyes on them. The big problem is we have to make sure that they understand there's not eyes on them at all times, only if they're doing something wrong. And that's sometimes hard to get across. But if we put we're incentivizing the drivers based off their driver scores. So that goes a long way too. We're posting it in the driver areas and the common areas so that they could actually see where the other drivers are at. And it becomes kind of like a game almost for them to make sure that, they got the best score this month.
Yes. How do you explain that to them that they're not being recorded all the time? How do you just show them? Is it talking about it?
Yeah. I mean, for my clients, we have more of like a personal touch to it. So I like to go out in person. We don't do just Zoom stuff, and I try to get to know the employees, the drivers. But honestly, just telling them and actually showing them, because like I said, we are actually printing off the pictures of the snapshots of the videos. And, I guess it's just an honesty thing. I mean, it's the truth. So, there is a button though on most of those cameras that they could self-record. So we talk about that part too, because when somebody comes onboarding them and training them on GPS Insight is part of what we do. So just discussing that, if you want to record it at all times, you hold the button in so that it actually does start recording. So they understand that.
Yes, we had an incident where a driver started recording when something was about to fall off the truck and he knew that it was going to damage his truck. It's just so great that you can have
exactly
too.
That's what I'm saying. This is such a great product, and actually, you're investing your money into this product. So you should use it to the best of its ability, something like that, or taking care of the speeding violations, taking care of the harsh brakes, whatever it may be. I mean, there's a reason you have it. You might as well utilize it. I mean, you're going to see, number one, you're going to see employees stick around because they're not going to be hurting off work. So that's going to be a real good thing. And hopefully what we see in time is roadside performance become better over time, that we see a better premium in time. Now, it's hard for us to say that you could definitely see a better premium because we can't say where the insurance marketplace is going. But it's going to improve your risk profile. So it's going to make you look more attractive to the marketplace.
Yes, not every product can make you look more attractive. So there you go.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And then the other thing too is if you are involved in an incident, I mean, it does show that you're not at fault too. And with the FMCSA, they post on the Safer website recordable crashes, and recordable crashes is what I always say is nurse, hearse, or tow. So nurse meaning if anybody's involved in any medical, hearse if somebody gets killed, or if there's a tow away of any vehicle. It automatically ends up on your report and goes against you in your crash indicator for your basic scores, which underwriters look at when they're quoting your insurance. So if you can use telematics and cameras to say, look, I am not at fault here, that's going to go a long way to help you in those situations.
Do other people use that phrase, or is that just you? Because it really sums it up.
I actually, there was a guy before me that that coined the phrase, but I'll take credit for it.
I'm going to quote you right on here. Okay. You mentioned claims, and there have been a lot of talk about issues like nuclear verdicts and that type of thing. How does this help with claims? How is this helping your clients?
Well, with the nuclear verdicts, I know like everybody says $100,000 today isn't what it used to be. And the problem with nuclear verdicts, going back to what I said, you have a billboard on the side of your vehicle. I mean, I travel the United States and I'm on a lot of interstates. You look up on the billboards, all it says is were you hurt in an accident with involving a commercial vehicle. I turn on the TV at home, I see that were you involved in an accident with a commercial motor vehicle. So they're out there, and it's the juries that are awarding these ridiculous verdicts, which once again, somebody has to pay that. And if the insurance company is going to pay that, that's where everything skyrockets. So once again, if we could prove to a jury with video, with showing, what we did over time, the speeding, coaching the drivers, showing that we actually did what we were supposed to do is going to go a long way. We don't want to be, you think that it would be fair and they would look, say, what's the revenue of your company? What can you actually afford? And they don't do that at all. They throw a number out there, see what sticks, and then you're on the hook for it. So that's where we're here to help. We're here truly to mitigate your risk and once again, make you as most attractive as we can to the marketplace.
What other trends have you been seeing? What do you see coming up this year in influencing claims management?
Well, with COVID now not really being an issue, we have a lot more mileage on the road. So, what's interesting is over COVID, you think that we would have had a pretty big dip in claims, but what happened, from what I understand, there was nobody on the road, but a lot of commercial drivers were on the road. They were speeding, they were doing things, they probably weren't being looked at as closely as they were before. People were working from home. So we had those issues. So it wasn't that the frequency was high, the severity was high. They were getting in worse accidents. And then we have here, like I said, now it's just a complete influx and trying to catch up with everything so quick and putting so many miles on. Now we're seeing the frequency and severity go up. So, even if everything, I read an article from a carrier recently, and it went through all the reasons as to why commercial auto is where it's at. And it said, even if everything was fixed today, it would still be, probably multiple years before you'd see a decent decrease in premiums because of where the market's going.
Articles like that are always sobering. Like, quickly turn to the sports page, get on something else.
It's why we got a job, right?
That's right. So as a final question, how do you think the partnership is going? Has it been going well, talking to people about us? Where do you think it's going between the two of us?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I'm not just saying that just to say it. We did do our due diligence. We went through all the big name telematics companies, some of the smaller ones, and honestly, we were trying to target some. We didn't want the biggest one to partner with because the main issue that we always heard was customer service wasn't there. So that was one of the biggest issues that we had when we were looking into this. And we got great customer service when it comes to GPS Insight. So, and honestly, we think the platform is the most user-friendly. And the reports are great. I mean, to generate reports out of it, you're not building it on your own. You're just generating it and seeing it. So we think it's a great benefit to our clients. And like I said, really, we know that our clients are getting the most out of it because we're actually reviewing it on their behalf and making sure they're getting the most out of it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for your partnership, and thanks for being on the program.
All right, Carla. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Once again, I'm with Michael Kuiros, division of Keystone Insurers Group, and I am Carla Wardin with the GPS Insight podcast.